Okay, it's time for a really big adventure to begin. We're sailing to Mexico. But right now we are on the north coast of British Columbia, so we have a long way to go. There's a whole lot of coast between here and Mexico. And if luck and weather are on our side, we're gonna sail it all. Slowly, of course, because that's our style. And, it goes without saying, we're taking you along for the voyage. This is South to the Sun. To sail to Mexico, we've got to make it down the entire coast of British Columbia, the entire west coast of mainland USA, and then down the west coast of Mexico before turning up into the Sea of Cortez. The journey will take us several months, and of course, in typical Magic Carpet fashion, we're not in a rush. And so, in each episode of our new series, South to the Sun, we will try to find beautiful and interesting things in the places where we are before moving on. And while some places give you beauty right away, other places make you work a little harder to find it. From what we had heard, we were kind of expecting to have to work a little harder here. All right. Well, it is raining right now, so I suppose that's actually a very good start to the South to the Sun series. It sets up the motivation quite well, doesn't it? We are currently almost as far north as you can get along the coast of British Columbia, near to Prince Rupert. We anchored in a little spot called Russell Cove last night, which is kind of across from Prince Rupert. We came in and we were really excited to pull into a dock and go have some pizza and a beer and all the trappings of land that we had been missing on the journey up to Prince Rupert. But unfortunately, there was no space in the harbor, so we're going to try again this morning. Now, Prince Rupert is definitely the most major hub on the north coast of British Columbia. It's got a big shipping port. It's got all the things that you might need. So the purpose of being here mainly is to stock up, to begin our entire voyage south to the sun. As we saw on our route up to Prince Rupert, and as you saw in our video about the route up to Prince Rupert, there's kilometers and kilometers of coastline, days and days of travel, where there's no opportunity for fresh groceries or a port to pull into. But this is actually part of the appeal, the chance to really just be in nature. And I think from what I've seen so far, that is something that the north coast and the central coast of BC really give you. It gives you the opportunity to have the anchorage all to yourself nearly every night, and to feel just completely immersed in the natural world in a way that's really unique to find. anywhere in the world. There's our boat. There's Aladino. Now on our trip up here, we were really kind of racing up, and so we missed a lot of things along the way. As we head down south, our ultimate goal is to get to Mexico, but we've got time. We've got time to weave in and out of inlets, to explore islands. And now, I say this, we have time, but at the same time, this coast is so vast that we almost have no time at all. Looked at it from another light, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, we meet people who have sailed this coast for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and they'll tell you that every single year they still find something different. Because you look at this coast on a map and it's just thousands of islands, inlets that cut so deep. If you wanted to anchor in every place where it's possible to anchor along this coast, I actually don't think you could do that in a lifetime. I mean, you'd have to make it your full-time job, new anchorage every night. Like, it's so endless. And so as much as we cannot wait to explore slowly all these little places as we head down south, I'm also aware that we're still going to be leaving a lot to explore the next time we come. For now, it is time to wait for this little squall to pass. I don't think the rain's going to last, and then head into Prince Rupert. We've been warned that today is going to be insane in Prince Rupert because there's actually 3 cruise ships that are going to be visiting town today, which I've been told is not normal. Like, there are cruise ships that visit, but I think 3 at once is kind of crazy. So the fact that we're here on a day when 3 cruise ships are in town is kind of a lot. But you know, it is what it is. We were luckier in the morning and we got a spot at the dock right in town. The streets were crazy. This is the most people we've seen in a long time. Coming for a week, eh? Prince Rupert it's a working town. It's a town that has seen a lot of ups and downs as industries come and go. It's not necessarily like this charming little seaside village, right? It's a shipping port, it's got industry, but like anywhere, I really do believe that there is real goodness and beauty to be found in most places. And once we get our groceries, we also have a new friend to meet. Okay, turn the water back on. Okay, good. Diesel's full. Bye, Prince Rupert.
Bye-bye.
Although we aren't going far.
Cheap gas. That was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, best price of gas we've seen on this entire coast.
Yeah, totally.
Well, diesel, anyway.
So, perfect place to start the journey.
It feels good though. We are so stocked up. We have diesel, we have food, we have water.
Yep.
Prince Rupert has been a really good port to just get everything done.
It really has been. And now we go search for that elusive sunshine. And of course, fresh flowers. The essentials. Now, of course, we've never been up this far north before, and so it's a brand new area for us with brand new people in it, and we've been so lucky to meet absolutely just some of the most kind and magical people on this coast already. So one of our new friends is named Ocean, and she lives in this small boat access community just off of Prince Rupert. So we're gonna go sail over there, spend the night at the dock, and say hi to Ocean, and she's going to hopefully give us some ideas for where to go on the rest of our voyage around this area. She spent a lot of time fishing on this coast, and well, I'll let Ocean introduce herself to you. Look at all these wonderful looking boat sheds. There's these nice markers, so I kept them lined up until now, and yeah, depth is increasing. I don't think by much, but that's a good sign.
Here we are, and the sun has come out. We're gonna walk up the dock and go and find our friend Ocean. Having never been to this area before, I was admittedly and maybe embarrassingly surprised to be pulling into what looked like an idyllic little harbor. But once again, I'm reminded that you find what you seek. The goal is to meet Ocean and learn about some of the best places to see on this north coast. And I can tell we're off to a good start because even the trip to go meet Ocean is turning out to be pretty nice. Hello, puppies!
Okay, and there we go. Pack made of annual, and then the leather work from a couple in chairs that do it. So.
Like, what I would like this to feel like is just, I mean, like the chat that we've just been having anyway.
Totally.
You know?
Okay.
So, like, it's not like an interview, it's not anything official. I don't need a sound bite. So we are in Dodge Cove, which is fairly close to Prince Rupert, and we're sitting here with Ocean. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you, and very often I don't really film our interactions with other people because I find them really like precious, and I don't always want to change the dynamic by introducing a camera into it. But you are so well-spoken and such an ambassador for this area and have such a depth of knowledge about the place that you live that I asked if you would be in one of our videos.
Totally.
And so thank you.
Yeah, it is quite an honor, and yeah, it's been really special to be able to meet you guys. I was also reflecting that I was trying to explain to my parents, I was like, man, their videos are such good quality. I was truly anticipating, I don't know, like very, not necessarily type A, but like very productive people. And then to sort of meet you guys in real life and to see you're on island time, you're on sailboat time. My coffee cup as well. I do find that every person who arrives in Prince Rupert or arrives in this area, there's a story that comes along with it. And in some ways, it is we're at the end of the road. We're at the end of Highway 16. And as you guys were saying yesterday, it's the start of your journey. Prince Rupert and this area, it's a small place. Dodge Cove has about 30 people that live here. Prince Rupert has about 12,000. And yet to some degree, the world comes here, sometimes be it through container ships, coal ships, sailing ships. And in that way, it doesn't feel like a small place.
Well, so you grew up in this area.
Yes.
You've worked on fish boats. Mm-hmm. You now work on tugboats in the port.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about your story, who you are?
Totally. A couple generations ago, I'm a fourth generation Rupertite, I would say. My great-grandparents immigrated from Sweden, and they had a homestead on Port Island in Una River. And there they were able to carve out a living for themselves. They would build boats, go fishing, work in the logging industry. I was born in Prince Rupert. We can't see Una River here, but I believe Port Island is the 8th largest island on the BC coast. It's about 40 kilometers to go from Una River to Prince Rupert. I think back in the day, my great-grandfather would row his boat every now and then. My parents eloped. They were married just in front of Lawyer Island. They stopped by, was it Hunt's Inlet or maybe Humpback Bay, where there was an old cannery site there as well. They had their honeymoon in Una River. It is special to have these waters so layered in my own family history, I guess. We've been able to develop, or myself at least, a stubborn love for the area where the climate is one of the harshest in the world, I might say, and the economies have gone up and down like the weather patterns, basically. There's never sort of been a constant, and it's not always easy, but it's definitely been home, and my soul, I feel like my soul was born into the right life. I think I feel really passionate about sharing this love for the coast because, not necessarily out of heartbreak, but we've watched a lot of people not be able to make it here. I've watched a lot of people, be it through economies coming and going, need to move out of town, or it can be an isolating place for some people, and or the weather patterns. Like, we're having such beautiful weather here. It's June, we're a couple of weeks away from the solstice, the days are long, and it's my favorite time of year to be here. But the winters can be challenging, and the hurricane force winds are a constant. I used to work at the swimming pool in town, and so I was able to meet a lot of people just from the public, and it was quite often the people that had the brightest light to them. It's not that they were in a la la land, like, oh, life has been so easy and it's so blissful. A lot of people that carried the brightest light to them had been through the darkest parts of life and chosen, like, hey, this is the way I want to walk through the world. Yeah, the winters are dark, the winters are long, but it's like, hey, to make it through, like, I want to stand a little bit taller and make sure you're okay, make sure you're living well, and come over for a cup of coffee. And there's that warmth that we can build and cultivate together that we might not be able to find outside.
As Aladino and I have sailed up and down this coast, we have seen the communities that no longer were able to make a go of it. And in a way that's made me really sad. And so it's really heartening to me to meet you and to see your connections to these really small communities. And I'm not just talking about Prince Rupert here, which is still, you know, like a fairly, on the scale of things, a larger town. But I'm talking about here in Dodge Cove and Una River, these smaller places that people are still living in, but not without its challenges, right? We were talking a bit about generation gaps and...
Totally. There's another book that I have in town, and maybe I'll be able to get it to you. It was called The Tides of Change, and it mapped out all of the old cannery sites on the BC coast and how most of them, if not all of them, are gone now, and the ones remain are museums. I'm thinking of the one in Steveston or the North Pacific Cannery up here, and how Prince Rupert used to house, or like the largest fish cannery in the world, Canfisco, owned by Jimmy Pattison, and it is now, like, Leo, my brother, he framed his layoff notice where that was the end of that chapter of history, basically. And in Dodge Cove, for instance, in the last 15 or 16 years, there's been one child. Yes, Lily. I might have to feed them 5:30 p.m. on the dot.
So you've talked about how it's really challenging and nobody kind of just ends up here.
Yeah.
But so then there must also be great reward. And so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the reward, the beauty of living here, why people choose to do it.
Oh, thank you. That's such a good question, actually. So the reward for myself, at least, is having the freedom of very little, I guess, governmental, this is one tangent, I guess, but governmental permitting, and that results in places, a lot of homes having creative carpentry projects, and that can either be like, oh, but, well, this is sort of inconvenient, or again, just creative and fun. And for myself, it can be hard to find an acreage on the coast. There's not a lot of land for residential development, but to find these little coastal properties where this is almost an acre here, there is a level of freedom here. There's maybe only 30 people here, and I might not be able to have my friends come over all the time because not everyone has a boat. But for me to walk from my house to the end of the dock where my boat is, it might take me 20, 30 minutes as I stop and talk to my neighbors along the way.
All the people inside, and they just had stacks of it.
And then the other piece of it for me is time. We do not have the same costs of living associated with Vancouver or larger cities. And for myself, time is such a precious commodity. And being able to, be in a rural or remote area, the time to work on my own life has been super important and very special and worth its weight in gold. Yeah, I think like a good Chatham Sound chart would just be perfect, and that's sort of what I'm looking for right now, but truly not finding it. Oh, yes. So,
Charts look better.
okay.
Patina and wrinkles.
Yes. So this is actually the one. If you can help me, I'll let you know. And there we go. This could be Stevens Prescott. Nice. Can we go all the way to Portshire with it? Let's see. Playing cards. There we go.
So these are your home waters.
Mm-hmm. Working on tugboats and the fishing boats that I have worked on, they have been really skookum boats. They can take any weather, basically. And Chatham Sound, which is this area right here, and Hecate Strait to the west, are notoriously treacherous bodies of water. The sea rises quite steep from the Pacific, and Hecate Strait is quite shallow, resulting in wild weather patterns and wave patterns, and we get about 24-foot tides around here. On a big westerly, if there's any sort of westerlies, the Skeena River, which is a very large river, between the rivers and the tides, and then any sort of westerly swell, it can also really stand up out here. So this body of water, I deeply respect. It's not to be taken lightly, I suppose. So if I ever take my own little skiff to Portshire Island, I really try and watch the weather, because there's been a few times where I've realized, shoot, I should not be out in this. My knees will be shaking, the dogs will be flying, and yes, and it's like, okay, lesson learned. I shouldn't have done it on this tide. I shouldn't have done it with this wind direction. And yeah, it's sort of a forever learning process. Yeah, there's some really nice surf out here. People will watch the Rose Spit weather buoys, I guess, from Haida Gwaii, and they can tell what sort of swell is going to come from western Haida Gwaii, and it will sort of land around Tugwell Island, and yeah, there can be some beautiful surf.
Move the tarot cards.
Yes, and there we go. I'm just
Nice.
Thankful we found this.
Like magicians.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to see, the beautiful beaches along like Aristobald, Campania, Calvert Island. And yeah, the Central Coast is also just such a beautiful area. Yeah, it's been a bit of a life's mission for myself to learn how to live well in a rainforest, and to battle humidity and wind and all the things. I love wool and wood stoves, and that is the difference between enjoyment and suffering, or enjoyment and survival.
Yes.
Basically. I'm surviving this or I'm enjoying this. It's storming outside, but I'm comfortable and warm. And I've also sort of always thought that this area is a reflection of each person. What we see here is a reflection more of what's going on internally for us. I used to sell my book to cruise ship passengers, and some people would be like, what is this place? It's sort of run down, it's like a little grungy, like, why are we here? And then other people would come up to me and be like, wow, I'm so glad we stopped here. The people are so warm, it's so beautiful here. And I believe it's more of a reflection of, our inner world. And so if you can find beauty here, I think that's indicative of there's some beauty going on within too, so.
I think that's a really beautiful message to take with us wherever we go. Although I also think that you don't exactly have to look too hard or be overly introspective in order to find this North Coast beautiful. In the next episode, we'll visit some of the places that Ocean and her friends recommended to us. And after all the talk of wool and wood stoves, we got pretty lucky with the weather. So here's the lighthouse, which is already pretty cool. We're up on the lighthouse, we see a massive splash, and there's a whale. So we'll leave you here, in Dodge Cove, just off of Prince Rupert. Not much distance traveled in this episode, but new friends made, things learned, the boat well provisioned. We're ready to head off sailing in the next episode. As always, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video, perhaps you might enjoy my book. I wrote a book last year. It's called The Northern Voyage, and it describes our journey last year, heading up to the Central Coast as far north as Ocean Falls before turning back south and heading along the west coast of Vancouver Island. The book is part coffee table book, part book that you can actually read. There's photos on every single page, so you can certainly enjoy it just for the photos. But if you felt like it, you could also read it cover to cover and be taken along our entire journey. It reads like a travel log of the entire trip. My little brother is kind enough to be sending the books out for us while we are out sailing. So thank you, Dylan. If you order a book, he will be sending it to you. A huge thank you to all the names now appearing on screen for always going above and beyond to make sure Magic Carpet keeps being produced. We are so incredibly grateful for you. And a big thank you to all of our patrons for making these videos possible. If you believe in what we're doing and you enjoy tuning in every Friday for a new episode, consider Patreon. It's an amazing platform, and most importantly to us, it allows us to keep control of these videos with you, the audience. We are so fortunate to have been able to make the decision to not have to include sponsored advertisers in our videos, and that's a really big deal to us. We're really grateful to that, and that's exactly because of audience funding through Patreon, so thank you for that. If that seems of value to you, I will put a link in the video description. I will also put a link in the video description to the book that Ocean mentioned. Ocean wrote a book. It's a beautiful children's book, and she was a bit hesitant about including too much mention of it in this video because it's not really set up with distribution, so you can search for it online, but you might have to try to get in touch with Ocean in order to order one. So I'll leave that up to you and her to figure out, but it's a beautiful children's book with illustrations from the West Coast. If you're at all interested in the West Coast and you have kids in your life, we are very grateful to have one on board ourselves. With that, we will see you in the next episode as we continue to head south to the sun. Bye for now.